Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mark in the Cloud, and in this video I'm going to tell you how I went from zero technical knowledge to changing careers to get into DevOps at the age of 33. So a bit of background: I left school at 16, pursued a career in finance. So I went to college, learned accountancy, and started to go down that route, various office jobs in various finance type roles. Got to the age of 20 and kind of landed myself in the first role to do with payments, where I spent the best part of 10 to 12 years building my career really in payments, both offline payments like checks and cash and bank payments and card payments as well. Fast forward kind of those 10, 12 years, and I've just done 5 years at a charity, a large charity in the UK, where I've kind of worked my way up through team manager to kind of project manager and then senior management. At that point, and we're in 2018 now, I decided that I would like to get into tech. Always had a bit of a passion for tech and for web design, that sort of stuff. And so put some focus into learning how to build websites. And from there, I really found an interest in not the design stuff itself, because I'm not particularly creative like a web designer should be. I found more interest in how to host the websites. So I started to look into how to host a server or my own server rather than just buying kind of off the shelf hosting. And that kind of led me down the path of server management, system administration type roles. And once I realized that that was really where my passion was, I started to buy courses on Linux system administration, and then I bought some old server hardware. I don't recommend doing that. My electricity bill at the time went through the roof. And so I settled on a Raspberry Pi, which is like a little credit card sized computer, which you can essentially use as like a home server. And I did that alongside hundreds of pounds worth of courses on Udemy. And so there are all sorts of courses on all of the things required to be a DevOps engineer. And I found out what courses to get or what courses I needed to take by literally searching for junior or even mid-level DevOps positions online, looking for jobs that were available. I actually printed off, back in the day where we actually still used paper and printers. I printed off the job descriptions, sat with a highlighter. There was about 10 or 12 job descriptions, and highlighted the terminology that came up more than once. So I came up with things like Linux, Docker and containerization, CI/CD pipelines, and that sort of stuff. So I got myself basically my own little roadmap, bought all of the courses, not all at the same time, but bought a bunch of courses that would give me the skills required and put in a considerable amount of effort. So I would say I've looked at the courses that I've bought, and there are hundreds of hours worth of learning there. So I would say between that and practicing at home and doing like the home labbing stuff on the Raspberry Pi and the server hardware, I'd spent the best part of 1,000 hours over the course of a year learning. So that is an average of just under 3 hours per day. And when I look back, I 100% feel like that's how long it took as well. I was giving up whole weekends because I so enjoyed it so much. I started to get into things like self-hosting, which is basically running your own versions of applications, things like Plex Media Server, and I was like burning DVDs on my computer and then storing them on a hard drive, and then basically building my own personal Netflix library really from DVDs I had, and I had hundreds and hundreds of them. In fact, I bought boxes and boxes of them from eBay at like 20 pence per DVD or something, and then burnt them all and created a library. And so just going through that journey of having to run my own software on my own server hardware really, really built up a passion and an understanding for the types of work involved in being a DevOps engineer. And then, so that happened in 2018, and I spent the best part of 2018 or 2019, in fact, learning those skills and practicing those skills, and then started applying for tech roles around August of 2019. And I was fortunate enough to land my first junior DevOps role in November 2019. and that paid me £30,000 per year, which isn't a lot of money when you give up a senior management position that was paying the best part of 50k. So it was a huge drop in salary, but I just figured that if I was going to be happier, that I could just take the time and just take the risk to rebuild a career, because I felt like I had the passion and the drive to make it happen. And then within 6 months, I was getting approached for other roles, because once I had DevOps on my CV, it was like the floodgates opened essentially on LinkedIn. I'm a huge advocate of LinkedIn, especially for tech roles. I've been approached for all of my tech roles apart from the first one. And so I moved within 6 months, very quick turnaround. And you find that actually job hopping in tech will generate a faster pace of growth for your salary, but I'll do a separate video on that. And so within 6 months, yes, I moved into what they would call a mid-level role. Despite only having 6 months experience, they were willing for me to learn on the job still, and that paid me 52k. And then a year after that, I got approached for another role, which paid me 70k. And then a year after that again, in fact 18 months after that, I then got approached for another role, and that was 95k. I'm still at that company now. I've since been promoted from Senior DevOps Engineer to DevOps Manager, and that all happened from that junior role on 30k to being a DevOps Manager on over 100k. That all happened within 3 years. So I did that without a degree. I did that with no technical background whatsoever, with the exception of the learning that I did the year prior to getting that role. And this channel and my TikTok channel and the course that I'm creating is to help people go from zero to DevOps engineer in a much shorter time, really, because I wasted a lot of time learning web design. Wasn't wasted at the time, and in fact I still build websites occasionally now, but it was wasted in terms of my progression towards becoming a DevOps engineer. And so if you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments below. If you like this video and you found it useful, or you'd like to find out some more, then please like and subscribe for more content. I have a bunch of videos I'd like to make to answer all of the questions that I've had over on TikTok, on my Discord, and yeah, I'm going to start to create some long form content here. So thanks for watching. As I said, like and subscribe if you'd like to see more.